What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know. Tas, tas, tas. I'm about to get it in. But before I get it in, what happens over here? We get that intro in. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate all the support. Are you guys ready for another Super Gunner where I tell my life stories and experiences with a twist? Let's get it in, right? This one's called the Red Rag Southsiders, right? And how I was confuzzled, right? I was bamboozled. I was tricked. Man, I still got a lump on my head from it, right? Let me tell you guys exactly what happened and how these Red Rag Southsiders invaded the spot and tricked me for a long ass time, right? The setup was real. So I lived in these apartments called the Willowbrook Apartments. They're on the north side of Merced, right? Like everybody lived there. They're not really ghetto, but ghetto motherfuckers live there. Hence, there I was, walking around, right? I've actually told a story in the past when I lived in those apartments, man. Paperboy, the rapper, the one that sings "Do the itty ditty if you want to," he actually lived in those apartments at the same time. And at the time, my ex-wife, her daughter, and his daughter used to play together. And so I would see him all the time. I knew exactly who he was. He lived in the complex. Well, we all lived in the complex, but he lived, you know how in apartment complexes, they have different buildings. He lived in the building directly across from me. I was upstairs. Whatever, right? It was ghetto as fuck. Okay, there was rats, there was roaches, there was shiesty approaches, and I was the one with all the shiesty approaches. So anyways, living there, you see a lot of different people move in. So they had this little park area, and I would take my ex's kids to the little park, man. I'd go chill out. My prima actually lived right next to the park, so I would go out there and see my primos, my prima, everybody. It was like a big family affair. We were all broke, so we all had to live where we had to live. So we every time that everyone was out there, it was like a big old family reunion. They'd have block parties and fucking a complex parties and all that, right? I wouldn't say it was a dangerous area, but there were some dangerous people living there. So you really had to stay on it with your children, right? So I would go out there, bam, watch the kids, whatever. I seen this vato. He was going to throw the trash, and he had a red paño around his neck. He had it tied up, pinta style, prison style, like the Southsiders do when they're in prison, right? And I see him from a distance, big old whip. Probably looked like a couple years older than me. He's walking as he's walking, and I'll see him. I'm like, hey. And he doesn't turn around, like thinking I'm probably not talking to him. I'm like, hey. And he turns. I'm like, hey, bro, where you from? Right? He says, Gabe, where you from, man? Because I never recognized this guy. I know a lot of people in the town. Why the fuck is his mustache thicker than mine's? And I don't know who he is or know of him. So I'm like, hey, homie, where you from? He's like, hey, what's up, B? I'm like, hey, what's up? He said, let me throw this trash. I'll be right back. Huh? You know what I mean? The basura stinks. Hey, we had Chinese food. I was like, all right, cool. So he comes back, and I ain't even gonna lie. The kids on the swings and shit. And I'm like, oh shit, should I be hitting gang members up around children? I shouldn't, but we all did, right? So I'm like, hey, what's up? I said, where you from? He said, yeah, I'm from out here, eh? You know what I mean? I said, oh, that's what's up. I said, you from Merced? He said, nah, I'm not from Merced, bro. I said, oh, that's cool. I never keyed in on. He never told me exactly where he was from. He just was like, yeah, I'm from a land far, far away, right? So I was like, oh yeah, when you move in here, bro? And he was like, oh, me and my brother, we live here with this old lady and shit. I just got out of prison. I saw, that's what's up. Now, automatically, I see Red Rag. He's tatted back. I'm not really looking. He doesn't seem to have like any identifying tattoos. It's just some hyenas and some old school shit. And so I'm like, oh, that's what's up. He's a homie, right? A norteño. So I'm like, hey, that's what's up, bro. So we get to chopping up. He's like, hey, we're going to have a little carne asada later. You want to come by and shit? I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So me and him end up becoming cool. His brother was a straight OG. His brother was cool. These guys, hey, their whole house flamed up, red, everything. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. I was all gang banged out. So back in them days, I was like the shit, right? So I'm like, damn. And I ain't even gonna lie, that dude's old lady was not ugly to look at. Like she was sunshine on hey, you are the sunshine of our lives. All three of us. You know what I mean? Doing the kumbaya every time she walked down the steps. So I get to chill with this dude. I actually have homeboys that would come through, you know what I'm saying? Because at that time I was serving weed. So homeboys would come through all the time. I told you, man, in the story a long time ago, Paperboy owed me $20 for an eighth, right? And yeah, I was getting them, right? And that motherfucker didn't have my money right. And I told him, why don't you itty ditty your ass downstairs and go get my 20 that you owe me? Because we got in a little bit of an argument. Anyways, so old dude's kicking it with me. Well, I have a primo that's super banged out, like super norteño, like that, but he's not him, right? And he comes through one time and he's like, yeah, I was in the county. I know that vato. He said that vato was in the bubble. Now, in my county jail, when you go to the bubble, that means you're in protective custody, you got a bad case or something wild. And I'm thinking, oh, hell no, right? So I hit him up. My primo's like, yeah, I don't know about that dude, eh? I said, he says he's, a homie and shit, but he never did say he was a homie. I thought he was a homie, right? That's what I get for thinking. So anyways, I hit the dude up, right? I go to his pad because I would go over there all the time, kick back. They'd be smoking weed. I'll go hook him up, him and his brother. And they had a homeboy over there. And this dude keeps looking at me. He's all blasted back his head and just staring at me when I come in there, right? Because I'm flamed up, whatever. They're flamed up too. This dude wasn't. So he keeps looking at me. Excuse me. I got the burpees. I was thinking about how hard that motherfucker hit me in the head and I started coughing and shit. So anyways, I see his homeboys just mean mugging the fuck out of me. Sureño mean mug. Surge. He's looking at me like Tommy Guns was looking at them security guards, all mean, but still asking for help. So anyways, I'm like, hey, let me get at you, bro. Can I get at you? He's like, yeah, what's up? And he said ese a lot, like more than I do. But see, back in my days, I come from an era before the N, before we said N, right? That shit started like in 91, 92. Back in the days, we all said ese or we just didn't say shit at all. So I'm like, hey, ese, let me get at you. He's like, yeah, what's up, ese? I said, hey, my primo, bro, he says he knows you, that he was in the Sandy Mush with you, which is a county just like our farm of the county jail, right? He said, yeah, I've been in the county a few times out here, is he? And I'm like, yeah. He said, you were in the bubble, bro. He said, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Nah, I don't go to the bubble, homie. He said, they put me on separation status because of my history, my control history of my violence. Motherfucker, that don't make no sense. My violence is uncontrolled, right? And I was always right there on the block with everybody. But that was his story, and I was like, bro, I don't know. And he was like, hey, do I look like I did some wild shit, eh? Soul gang, right? I'm like, nah, not really, right? So we're kicking it. His brother's like, nah, my brother, hey, he's cool. So anyways, we're kicking in. This other dude's mean mugging. So I said, who's that right there? He said, hey, that's one of my homeboys. He came down to visit and shit. He always would say down. He came down. He would never say up, right? And I'm not catching all these little things because I've been kicking with this dude for like 2-3 months by this time. I done had homeboys around him. We done partied at his house. He done partied at our little apartment. Like we kicked it. Me and him went to In-N-Out Burger. Like, once you go with a homie to In-N-Out Burger, that like bonds you. It's like being a celly. You know what I'm saying? Hey, when you share some animal fries, like not share them literally like some weird shit, but when you order animal fries together, you eat them in a car, like it's like a different type of bond. You enjoy the flavors of In-N-Out together. You are bonded for life. And so I never tripped on it. I wasn't picking up on these things. So this is what happens. My chick at the time, she would go down to do laundry in the laundry room and she would always chop it up with his chick. And I ain't gonna lie, there was a few times I made a few passes. I shouldn't have did it, but it was hard to pass the shit up. She'd walk by, I'd go boom, boom, boom. Every time she walked by, because there was a lot of boomalization going on there. So anyways, she would like lightweight flirt, whatever, but it was never no nothing. I was never gonna step on the homie's toes, his brother's toes, right? And so she's in the laundry room, I guess, and my lady at the time goes to the laundry room. And they get to talking, and my lady asks, "Hey, like, where you guys from? My lady's all in the mix. She's trying to, hey, home, hey, you want to go out and cheat on our men, right there? She's just like that." And I'm not privy to this conversation yet because I'm at the house playing Super Nintendo, just chilling. And my lady comes up and she got to the laundry, like she didn't even wash it. She's all shocked. She's like, "Hey," I'm like, "What?" She was like, "You know that chick, the one that's with your boy's brother?" I said, "Oh, the Boom." That's what I used to call her. You mean Boom Boom? Right? She was like, "Yeah, whatever, motherfucker. I shouldn't even tell you this." She goes, "You know they're from LA, right?" I said, "The fuck up. That's a homeboy right there." She goes, "No, they're not. They're Southsiders." I say, "No fucking way they're Southsiders, right? The motherfucker, they got fucking more red than everything." She goes, "You ever seen a huelga bird there? You ever heard them say norte or ene or anything like that?" I said, not really. I never really paid attention. She goes, I'm trying to tell you, stupid ass, they are from LA. Them dudes are Southsiders that wear red rags. And I know about red rag Surenos because I was locked up in YA prior to this conversation, right? So I know about Culver City, I know about Florencia, I know about Long Beach. Like I know about Southerners who have wore red. That's a fact, right? So I'm like, no way. Like this Vato knows I'm a Norteño. He would have been told me. He wouldn't have been kicking it with me. Like they had done beat me up or tried, right? Because they didn't have me in compromising positions. And many a times I was by myself cruising with them going to Winton and Atwater. Motherfucker, now that I think about it, well, where were we going to Atwater? Son of a bitch, right? I didn't see the proof was in the pudding, and the pudding was almost half empty. It was right there in front of me. But I didn't want to believe it because this was the homie. Like we were cool. Plus, he owed me a lot of money for weed. Nah, like no can do. So, anyways, I'm like, she's full of shit. Maybe she's from LA. She goes, yeah, maybe. But she told me that they're all from LA and they just moved here. And I was like, nah, he told me he's from down here. I don't know, right? So, anyways, I'm like, I ain't gonna go out like that. I'm gonna hit him up, but I'm not gonna walk down there right now because my socks are dirty. Go wash my socks. So, anyways, it's a couple days later. I don't see them. So I'm like, fuck it. I go knock on their door, right? Nothing. Crickets. Jiminy crickets, right? So I'm thinking, did they fucking move? I'm trying to look. They have a little fence with like a patio. I'm trying to look in the glass. I see stuff still in there. So I'm like, maybe they're just not home. Their car's gone. I'm like, all right. So I had the homeboy's number. So I get home. I call him. I'm like, hey, bro, are you good? He's like, yeah, see, I'm good. We went to go visit family and shit. I'm like, all right. He's like, we'll be back in a few days, Holmes. He's like, hey, I got your feria. And I'm like, all right, all right. And now I'm alerted. My antennas are up. So I'm like, yeah. I'm like, surge. Right, real lightly. Now I'm like, hey, where you vatos at though? He's like, hey, we're down here in fucking Los, eh? Yeah, we're in Los Angeles. We're visiting familia. I said, oh shit, family? Damn, bro, I haven't been to LA in a long time. I got family there too. He's like, where? I said, yeah, from Compton. And he was like, oh shit, yeah. I got family in Linwood and shit. I'm like, hold up, man. How the fuck you got family? Like I'm the only Norteño ever in the history of Norteñoism that has family in LA, right? And so I'm like, oh, that's what's up. So now I hang up with them. He's like, yeah, I'll be back in a few days. It's all good. All right, homie. I didn't hit him up because I want to hit him up face to face. That's what real motherfuckers do, right? I don't want to give him a chance to escape. So I fucking called the homeboys. First I let my old lady know, right? You were right. She was like, told you, fool. You're stupid. Over there kicking it with Southside. Join them. I'm like, bitch, shut up. How about you join the laundromat and go wash those socks you still have not washed? Every time you go down there, you have an excuse why you keep coming up. Go downstairs and stay downstairs. You know, I'm locking the door next time you go out. So anyways, we have our little tit for tat argument, which happened all the time. And she jams to go wash clothes for the 5th time. And I'm chopping it up with a couple homeboys, my boy Sharks. And I'm like, hey, fool, you know the homies right here that I took you to their pad? He's like, yeah. And them two vatos, fucking, we call them the fucking Pai Norteños. I said, why that? He goes, you know, like Paisiders, the Southsiders are Paisiders? I said, yeah. He goes, we call them Pai Norteños. They're like Paisiders. I said, nah, bro, that's cool though. He's like, nah, ain't no wrong with this. Just they talk like half English, half Spanish. They're tripped though, huh? I said, hey, I don't think those are homies. He's like, what do you mean, fool? Their house is fucking flamed, but more than yours. I said, hey, I got a red comforter. Don't hate on me. He was like, nah. Nah, those are homies for sure, bro. Like, you're tripping, right? They're just more paisa than anything. I said, you might be right. I said, but hey, my lady, and I told him about the whole conspiracy theory, right? And he was like, well, where they at right now? Go hit them up. I said, they're in LA. He was like, oh, shit. Maybe they are, eh? Right? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to hit them up when they get back. I said, hey, come to my pad when I hit him up because I might need backup because his brother's a big dude. I mean, he has a thick-ass mustache, too. It looks like if you hit him, your hand will just get lost in the forest. He's like, fool, you don't need me. They ain't going to do nothing to you. They're your friends. I said, so you're declining the fade, right? Basically. He's like, you're good. So this is what happens, right? Years ago, Turlock, California. One of my tios lives in Turlock. He lives right off Pedros Road, right? The apartments right by Donnelly Park, Duck Park. Down the street was a bowling alley that they tore down. Like, I used to be over there every summer kicking it. And I've told this story before. And my tio had this friend. At that time, my tio, I was younger. He was in high school, right? And my tio, my uncle's only a few years older than me. My tio had this white homeboy. He was a northerner, though. He was all flamed up all the time. Badass mini truck. Like, just cool as fuck, right? I remember he always had money, stacks of money. He was balling. His shit was on Dayton's. Like, he was doing it big. He'd always be at my grandmother's house spending the night, eating. Like, that was his close homeboy. And I remember this. I knew all my tio's homeboys. Like, they were my friends, too. This dude came out of nowhere, but they were hella close, right? Now, at the time, my Theo used to sell Yes Guy, used to sell a little bit of weed here and there. Nothing big, never major, nothing over a half zip. But he used to do it at high school and at the colleges. And he was just, he was a youngster. That was his thing. And these guys were together. I mean, he spent the night at my grandma's a gang of times. I remember we'd all sleep knocked out on the floor and shit till like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, get up, brush our teeth. My grandma would make food. We'd all throw on the Miller's Outpost silver tabs, white t-shirts, and go out there looking for chicks and do it. You know what I mean? He was one of them homies. And we got real close. So fast forward. Well, wait up. Before I say that, what ended up happening with that dude was one day my uncle gets arrested at school. They did a sting operation. And that dude was older than he said he was, and he was a fucking undercover cop. We're talking about someone who was playing the game. Even though my uncle was nickel and diming, they wanted the connection, right? So they snatched my uncle up, and his friend was a narc. He was a fucking cop the whole time. No, everyone in my family, I remember, no one could believe it. He even came to my grandmother's house after they arrested my uncle and apologized to her. That's how cool they were, right? It was a trip. He ends up disappears, a cop, whatever, right? Everyone's like, oh shit, my uncle was shocked. He was I can't believe Weddle. Right? I can, right? And I was a little kid, like, remember that one time? Fucking so anyways, fast forward now. Them dudes get back. I see them out there fucking cleaning their car. Hey, they had a sick ass lowrider, right? Both brothers, they like shared the lowrider. So they're out there cleaning it, and I've been trying to avoid them because I'm like, damn, I don't want to approach these guys with some crazy ass shit without homeboys present. And every homeboy I'm calling, I'm like, hey, bro, I might need your backup. It might go down. They're like, hey, I'm busy. What happened? My old lady said she said we're going to Great America, eh? Yep. It's not a great time, but it's a Great America time, right? I'm like, hey, and I'm calling another homeboy like, hey, bro, I might need your help. Man, there might be 2 Southsiders here. And they said, yeah, is that right? Shit. Well, there might be more than that where I'm going. Shit. And so nobody wants to help me. Fuck it. I'm thinking about calling Ricky, right? If I call Ricky, he'll be like, whoop it. I'll go over there right now. But I'm not tripping like that, right? Because I know Ricky, he'll start fights with Northerners. He ain't tripping. You can't wear a speck of blue around that motherfucker back in the days. So I'm like, fuck it. And they're all flamed up, washing the car. Like, everyone's all like Northerners in that apartment complex, but none of them can be found. Crickets or roaches in this case, right? So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to go say something. Now, I told you the Turlock story because of this. I see him. I kind of pass by him, whatever. I jump in the whip. I jam. I go take care of what I got to take care of. I go on the west. I'm trying to rally the homeboys up. But everyone seems to be, all my taitas, like the homies I fuck with, they're all like doing something. So I'm like, fuck, man, I ain't no punk, man. I can hit these dudes. Or what are they going to do, right? So I go to Walmart. And as I'm in Walmart, I'm grabbing toilet paper and some shit that I need for the pad. I see a boy in the aisle. He's older now. We're older now. But it's fucking him. Weddle, we used to call him, right? From Turlock. He was the narc, right? And I hadn't seen this dude since all this shit went down. Like, he just disappeared. Like I said, I found out, but I'd never seen him after that. My grandma seen him after that. My uncle, I heard fucking seen him after that during court, but I just never did. I was a little kid. And I ended up going to YA, doing all my time, whatever, right? So I see him, but I'll never forget him. He's with the chick and some kids. And I'm like, there ain't no way I don't say what's up. So I walk past him. Now, he's not dressed how he used to dress. He's dressed like a regular dude. So I walk up on him. I'm like, hey, what's up, Weddle? And he sees me and he can't place me. And that name like takes him back. You can see the shock in his face because that was just the name that he was using, a nickname we basically gave him, right? And he looks, he says, I know you. I say, yes, you do, officer. And I tell him who I am. And he's like, wow, man, you grew up. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, man, look, I was just doing my job, man. I really care for your family. You guys are good people, but your uncle was doing bad. He was selling drugs to kids and this, and that, whatever he said, right? And I was like, yeah, fuck all that. And I was like, yeah, but he's with his wife and his kids, so I don't really want to make a big old thing, but it's like my only time catching up to him. So I'm like, all right, cool, right? And I'm like, what are you doing in Merced? Because he's from Turlock. At least I thought he was. He said, I'm visiting a couple of my homies. I said, you got homies? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm not a cop no more. I left all that behind. Like, they were putting me in compromising positions or whatever. And I was like, whatever, man. I said, my uncle did some time for that. He goes, man, you guys were kids. It'd be all right. I'm like, okay, cool. My instinct was to do the Rambo on him. But then he had his wife and children. And back in them days, we didn't do shit like that. So I'm like, all right, fool. All right. So I leave. Before I left, I go into the parking lot. I see him coming out with this kid. They jump into like I don't know what kind of car it was, like a regular ass Ford or something, right? And they jump in, boom. He jams. I jam. I'm like maybe 3 or 4 cars behind him because I'm like, fuck it. I ain't even tripping off him anymore. What a coincidence. I just run into this dude on a day. I'm going to hit people up. Next thing you know, as I turn I'm on Olive Street. As I turn, I'm going to go in the apartment complex. This fool's pulling into the apartment complex, like right in front of me. He parks in the guest parking, which is straight by the fucking, the little park thing that they have, you know, where the kids play. He pulls in. I'm thinking, what the fuck's he doing in my apartment complex? So I park in my parking spot and I go around the other way. There's two ways you can go. You can go around where everyone in the, you know, where them cars are parked can see you, or you can go the back way and then I could go around because there was like, I could go upstairs to my apartment, right? So I go that way and I tell my lady, man, I'm running her down. I just ran into the fucking narc that told on my uncle. And she was like, damn, you're going to let that fly? I said, nah, if I could separate him, he's here. She was like, what do you mean he's here? She's all freaking out. Hide the fucking shit. Hide the shit. It's just an ounce of weed. Stop it. I go downstairs. I'm like, fuck that, man. It's just a coincidence. I'm going to go downstairs. So I knock on the door of the homies. I'm ready to hit them up. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. And a chick answers, and it's not their chick. It's the fucking cop's old lady. And I hear kids playing and shit, and I'm like, and I see the dudes, they're like, hey, what's up, babe? Hey, this is our primo, Holmes. Now, dude was half white, half Mexican, looked more white though, right? And I see him, and his jaw drops, and my jaw drops. He's a fucking cop, and I put him on blast. I said, hey, bro, you know fucking your cousin's a hoorah? And they're like, he used to be back in the days. Hey, he's not a hoorah anymore. He's the whole reason we moved up here. I said, what the fuck you mean moved up here? To Merced? He ain't from Merced, he's from Turlock. He said, nah, we moved up here from LA, ese. And I said, what do you mean? He said, oh, you didn't know? Nah, we're Surenos, ese. And I was like, fuck that, right? I got crazy. These motherfuckers drugged me out of the apartment complex. The cousin was like, no, stop. We're going to get us arrested, and I can't go to jail. These dudes beat the motherfucking living shit out of me. Do you understand they had me tricked thinking they were Norteños for over 6 months? And when I finally found out I got beat up, man, I ain't going to lie. I had to go to the hospital. I had a concussion. They done mollywop me here and there and everywhere. So look, I get drugged. They're beating the fuck out of me, right? Because I disrespected them. They were like, we weren't even tripping off you. I said, we knew you were a Norteño, but we just thought you were cool with it. I would have been if you would have just explained it to me, right? Because I don't give a shit. They end up beating the fuck out of me. I make it to my apartment. Guess who helped me? That fucking cop. Here, let me help you, right? Sorry what my cousins did to you. Fuck that. I got lumps all over my head. I get in there. My chick's like, let me drive you to the hospital. What are we going to tell them? Say I fell down the stairs, right? So I get in there. Bam, I need some medication. Help, right? So I go what I go through. I'm calling all the homeboys like, hey, we got to get these fools. We got to get these fools. True story. The homies are like, yeah. A couple of them come to the hospital. Like, yeah, we got them. We're on them. I said, man, these fools are fucking, they're flamed up, bro. They tricked me. They were Red Rags outsiders. They were like, oh, fuck that, homie. We're on them. We pulled to the apartment complex. Look, mind you, true story. They didn't have much in there. I mean, they had a nice pad, but nothing like real major, right? Maybe a sofa, a couple beds. I never went upstairs to their bedroom, so I don't know, right? I would always chill right down the patio. They had a barbecue pit and in the living room kitchen. Let me tell you guys something. I was probably at the hospital for like 2 hours. You know, I had to wait for half an hour in the ER and then fucking get in there and do what I got to do. Homeboys came, concussioned up. Next thing you know, take Tylenol and you're all good. Take some Excedrin and you exceed, right? And so I'm like, okay, I get fucking the homies all riled up, man. Maybe like an hour I'm at my homeboy Mingo's house gaining soldiers. Like, we're going to go back and do some bad shit. Let me explain something to you guys. When we're pulling in, a U-Haul's pulling out. And I didn't even trip because people move in and out of the apartments all the time. When we got to their pad, there was nothing left but a red rag on the porch. Them motherfuckers were gone. I got beat up by Southsiders. They played me. They worked us, right? The whole time, man. Hey, about 5 months after that, I got a call from that vato, and he was like, hey, are you still tripping, ese? I said, fuck yeah, I'm still tripping. He goes, well, fuck you then, Buster. And that was it. All that for that, man. Anyways, with that being said, that's another life story that I enjoyed and I experienced, and my head still hurts from it. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. This is why I say, man, you got to know who you're fucking with. I kind of knew, but I didn't. Maybe I didn't want to see the writing on the wall. Sur gang. Anyways, man, yeah. I've had some experience with Red Rag Southsiders, but these ones, they knew what they were doing, man. And he didn't even pay me back for the weed. That's the fucked up part. Bang, bang.